about specific to Jordan Davis? And I know you're not seeing him every day at practice or anything, but you're talking about a behemoth. You're a large man yourself, but this guy is incredibly big. What's your sense, just maybe seeing him a little bit at Georgia, seeing him now, what the future holds for him?
Man, he is a people mover, right? We never had anybody that size.
Yeah.
So I mean, heck, when I played in Philly, I was like 295. That dude there is at least 100 pounds bigger than I was. I mean, he is a massive human being. And then at 6'8", I mean, 6'6", 6'7" years, that is unreal. And then be able to move the way he does. I mean, the guy ran what, 4'8",
4'7",
4'7".
Yeah. See, that's ridiculous. See, that
right.
that is
that's not real.
No,
right.
that is absolutely a mutant.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Great to be hanging with you today. We are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Rob Ellis, Derek Gunn, Barrett Brooks will be joined very shortly by former Eagles defensive tackle, defensive lineman extraordinaire, Corey Simon, who is up to really good things. I think we actually have Corey. I think he's ready to rock and roll. Is that right? Xander, we got Corey. All right, there he is, the one and only. There is the man himself. Yes, he played for the Eagles from 2000 to 2004.
Corey, what's up, bro?
Oh man, nothing much, man. Well, heck, I'm lying. A lot's up, man, but all good things.
Corey, it's good to see you, man. Let's start with this one. I know it was 5 years, whatever it was, but give us your impressions, your time spent here in the city of Philadelphia, and what it was like to be an Eagle, man.
Man, you know what? It is. That place will forever be a special place for me, man. I really enjoyed the city, the culture. The guys that Andy surrounded me with, man, just great people. And then, of course, spending a little time with D Gunn over the years.
There you go.
Well, unfortunately, you had to deal with that. But other than that, everything.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a nuisance, but you learn to embrace things. That's just how it is.
Dude, let's call it like it is. You were a great football player, but you were a class clown off the field. People don't know this. This dude, you can hardly ever get straight answers out of him because he was always cracking jokes. And you stand there, would you please just say something we could use on the show tonight? Please. He would hardly give you anything you could use on the show.
Listen, man, that was part of the Andy Reid training. Don't give the media too much. So, I just broke all of that up with a lot of jokes so that you didn't think I was just blowing you off.
And that's what that team was all about. I wasn't there when you were there, but just looking from the outside in, I was in parts unknown. I was in actually Detroit and wasn't nothing going on there because Barry retired. So, but you kind of tell those guys, you guys really got along together, man. And that foundation of that team allowed them to go to a lot of championship games, man, because of you guys.
Yeah, no, man, that's what made it so special, right? We enjoyed really being around each other.
Right.
Heck, our first meeting wouldn't be until, 8:30, but we'd be up at the complex at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning back in the players' lounge playing Halo. Just so, and then we tell our wives, hey, meeting ran late, and we get home at 6 o'clock because we've been hanging out, but we've been off since 4:30. So it was that type of environment, man, that just really made it special. To just kind of be around each other.
Yeah, Corey, you were there. I mean, your years are when the team just really took off, man. I mean, Andy comes in 99 and gets things turned around, but you started to really hit your stride 2000 and then, up until your last year. I mean, that's rare in an NFL career in one city that you're good and really good every single year.
Yeah, no, I think the further out you get away from the game, you realize just how hard it is to win and be consistent. Yep. And that's the part of it for us is, and I came in under that, right? So It was like, heck, making it to the playoffs and going to NFC championship games and all of that was just what you did. But you realize when you talk to some of those older veterans who had never been to the playoffs until they got to Philly, then you're like, oh, it's not like this everywhere. And so that it was so much fun, man. The fans, just the whole city was just always upbeat and it's hard to be upbeat in Philly, but we managed to keep them upbeat. I didn't have my trash can kicked over quite as much.
Do you see any similarities in this team? Did you see right now constructed right now to your old teams?
It's hard because you're not seeing behind the curtain. You're only seeing what I see what the rest of the fan base, and they probably see it more than I do. I just don't have as much time as I used to kind of engage, but you don't really get a chance to see behind the curtain, which is what made this special. That part for us, when we went out on the field, we were on the same page because in the locker room we were on the same page. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what kind of comes from all of this. But I can definitely see the maturity from a quarterback standpoint, which is what you need, right? You need that quarterback to be able to take those next steps, and then that defensive line is going to be a problem. And that's the part when I look at this team, I'm like, okay, that's how our teams were built. They were built up front, and that's seemingly what's happening now. And,
yes, that's what I was trying to say. Yes, the offensive line and defensive line. Yes.
Yeah. No, they are really putting the money in the right places when you talk about up front. And man, it's going to be something to see. I'm excited.
Hey, Corey, what is the unseen factor that makes a cohesive unit on a team? You have a bunch of guys who come from different walks of life, different programs. A lot of them all Americans, all conference. Now it's all about making my money, and I'm not going to let anybody get in the way of making my money. But there's always an unseen factor with the good teams. And every time when you had Hollis and you had Hugh and all these guys, when I walked in that locker room, there was never a time when I thought that these guys, there was any tension in that locker room. And to be honest, it was a bunch of guys who I hate to use the term, but for lack of a better term, a bunch of class clowns. It was one of the most fun times I ever had covering pro football, because you walk in the locker room, you guys will pick on media people, you pick on each other, and you're like, how can these dudes focus on playing football? You go out on the field, you handle your business, and it's shown in the results in the one-loss standings. So what is that unseen it factor?
Every guy understanding their role and willing to play that role, not trying to be somebody else. Andy was a huge proponent of go out there and let your personality show, be who you are, and understand that role, right? I knew what my role was. Hollis was the run stopper. I was the guy that was going to get up the field and get after the quarterback. Mm-hmm. We knew what we had with Hugh. We knew Hugh was going to blow an assignment or two, and that's why Hollis was on so that's why Hollis was on that side, to make up for the fact that he was going to blow an assignment. And then we'd all get brain locked out there. And so Brandon was on the team because he was the Cal guy. And Brandon ensured that all of us knew our roles and responsibilities on every given snap. So, it was guys just knowing your role and be willing to play within the scheme and not do anything outside of that, which made it special, right? We were good with that. And that's why we won the games we won.
How about specific to Jordan Davis? And I know you're not seeing him every day at practice or anything, but you're talking about a behemoth. You're a large man yourself, but this guy is incredibly big. What's your sense, just maybe seeing him a little bit at Georgia, seeing him now, what the future holds for him?
Man, he is a people mover, right? We never had anybody that size.
Yeah.
So I mean, heck, when I played in Philly, I was like 295. That dude there is at least 100 pounds bigger than I was. I mean, he was a massive human being. And then at 6'8", I mean, 6'6", 6'7" years, that is unreal. And then be able to move the way he does. I mean, the guy ran what, 4'8", 4'7",
4'7".
Yeah. See, that's ridiculous. See, that is
that's not real.
No, right. That is a mutant. That is absolutely a mutant. I know we talk about Dog being, being a mutant and with his whole, X-Men persona. Yeah. This dude here is a whole nother beast. And so, I think for him, I think he's approaching it the right way. Getting a chance to see some of his interviews. He's coming in as a pro, and he's willing to learn and come under some veteran guys. And I think, having those veteran guys in the locker room and in his segment will do him justice in the long run. And I think if he remains humble, continues to put in the work, he'll have a heck of a career.
How many games do you get to see? Eagles games annually, being down in Florida?
Oh man, it's maybe 3, 4,
Okay.
maybe. And you know, I'm a busy guy right about now, Derek. So you know, I don't know if I'll get a chance to see that many. You know, I'll be lucky if I catch one this season. My days are pretty tied up. My evenings are pretty tied up. But
talk about it, man.
Yeah, what do you have going on?
Wait. Are you guys, Rob, Barrett? Are you guys sitting down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Corey. I want you. When he told me this last week, I said, "What?" And so I want you to tell him what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I am in the middle of a hotly contested state senate race, and so I'm running for state senate here in Florida.
Wow,
it's something in the water that everybody from your time period turned into politicians. What made you go in that direction?
Yeah,
you know, for me, it's been something that's been called upon my life. Even when I was in Philadelphia, I got a word from a pastor friend of mine that said I was supposed to do this. You know, I always had a passion for people. I've always had a passion for service. And, you know, it's something that just kind of climbs on you. You start to want to see something different, especially at just how contentious and how, you know, politics has become lately. And I've always been told that, you know, be the change that you want to see. And so that's why I jumped into this. You know, I'm tired of the nasty, you know, personal attacks and all of those things. I think folks want to see something different. And it was time for me to kind of step up and take that mantle on and run with it, man. So I've been extremely blessed to be in some great situations, not only my professional career as a player, but running a state agency here in Florida. At Volunteer Florida as the CEO there. I was appointed by the governor to do that and sat on several boards across the state. And this is just another, you know, just another step in that progression of really going out and, you know, focusing on the things that I've always learned and gleaned from my professional life. I tell people all the time, if Washington D.C. and what happens in those boardrooms operated more like a locker room, we'd get more done.
Wow.
And the great part of that is, and I'm sorry, Gunn, to cut you off.
Go ahead.
The great part of that is when you walk into a locker room, you get guys that don't come from where you come from. They don't believe the way you believe. They don't look the way you look. But we can all come together because we understand the objective. And so that's the part of this that I'm bringing into the political arena, that we don't, you know, we don't come from the same place, but at the end of the day, we have a community to serve, and that's the function that I'm looking to bring to the state senate here in Florida.
So now that you're on the campaign trail, tell us what a day like is. Tell me what every day is like for you from sun up to sundown.
Yeah, no, it is. Every day is a little bit different, right? You know, some of it is because I have a huge district. I have 13 counties, and if you all spend any time in Florida, those counties are pretty vast. You know, from one side of my district to the other is about a 3.5 hour drive. And so, you know, I deal with state workers and you know, a town like Tallahassee that's a little bit more focused on state worker issues. But then I also have a huge rural sector that agriculture is huge. And so it's sitting down in those different areas, getting a better understanding of the challenges that these families are seeing, getting a chance to talk about some of those meat and potato issues, the things that are kitchen table issues, ways that I can put food on the table, gas in my car, pay for my medicine, all of these things that are challenging. And then sit back and listen, right? It's not a whole lot of talking. You know, God gave me 2 ears and 1 mouth. So I need to listen twice as much as I talk. And so it's listening to these families and trying to find solutions that fit within the state's mandate to help these families. And that's what I do. I do a lot of listening. I sit in on a lot of meetings with a lot of experts in a lot of different fields, trying to get a better understanding of ways that we can all work together. Some folks I'm going to sit down with, I'm going to agree with. Some folks I'm going to sit down with and I'm going to disagree with. But I think everybody needs to have a place where they can at least have an ear to listen. And that's what I do a lot of. It's a lot of listening to folks and trying to find some common ground. I think for too long, compromise has become a bad word. And we've got to get away from that and understand that oftentimes the answers are somewhere in the middle.
Well, were you a player rep during your period with you know, either Indianapolis or Pittsburgh? I mean, in Philly?
I wasn't. You know, we had some strong representation there, and I walked into a very veteran-laden locker room, and so we had great representation. So no, I didn't step into those places.
Well, you're very articulate, man. So you could definitely see the calling, man. So
yeah,
you know,
Thank
awesome, Corey. Listen, man, great catching up with you, and we wish you all the best, man. Good luck with everything, and keep doing.
You're not a dumb football player, man. That's what they think about.
Appreciate you, bro.
I love it, man. Love it, bro. Love it.
I'm still trying to take all this in. Corey Simon, politician,
and he was able to do all of this despite being scarred by Derek Gunn. I mean, it's
there you go.
What an
Let me tell you something. He gave as much as he took. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Don't let this man fool you. Now, that man gave. I was there. Sometimes I would sit there on post game. So I'm trying to interview him and ask him a question related to the game. He cracked some joke. I'm like, dude, would you pay attention, please, for just 30 seconds? Just 30 seconds. That's all I'm asking. And don't let Hollis walk and get in a conversation with me and him. When I had Hollis, then he'd walk out and they double team me. I'm like, this is like any football escapade I've ever had to be a part of. But I enjoyed every bit of it.
Corey and Hollis, that could have been a show by itself, man.
No. Corey, Hollis, and Hugh.
Yes.
Oh, Hugh, that's
yes. That we were the Three Musketeers. There's no question about it. And there was more than that. I mean, gosh, it was so much fun, right? And the game was supposed to be fun, right?
Yes.
We were playing a kids game. And you know, and of course, winning was a part of it, and because we won so much, things were a lot more fun, right, Barry? You said you were over in Detroit, you were having a whole lot of fun.
No. Going to work was like, you know what I'm saying, punching the clock, man.
yeah, you couldn't wait to get up out of there. It's like, all right, when the season over with, man, let me get my flight back home. Yeah, but no, we just really. We embraced it. I appreciate Andy, that staff, Modrak, when he was there, of allowing us to just be us, right? They weren't trying to pigeonhole us into being just this buttoned up. You are a football player. It was about just, you know, allowing your personality to shine.
Now, how many times did you get called in Andy's office? Because I know some players that used to get called in. Look, can you please not say this, or please do not do this? I don't mind you being, having a personality, but can you please hone it in just a little bit?
No, man, I never got that, because Andy saw the interviews the same way you were conducting them. He realized I wasn't giving y'all nothing to talk about.
Yeah, Andy was like name, rank, and serial number. You took it the other way, just kind of laughing and joking, but you never really gave any real insight. Didn't let anyone behind the curtain, I guess.
No, Gunn realized at the end of the day, he's like, man, you know what? That was a great interview, but I can't play any of that because none of that. But you know what? He loved it because he would come back the next week and do the same thing.
That's exactly right. It's exactly right. People ate that stuff up, man.
Yeah,
man. And I think in this day and age, folks needed that, right? I think we were a little ahead of our time from that standpoint, because you got a chance to see the personality of the players, right? Because football, we put that helmet on and people just think we're just robots, right? We're just going out there and we do our job. And so we're not like basketball. We're not like baseball. We have on a full uniform where folks can't get a chance to see us until that camera comes on and we're off the field. And so it was important for us to just go out there. And I think that's why we've been endeared, not only just the fact that we won so many games, but I think even when I come back to Philly now, folks can appreciate the work that we did because they got a chance to see a little bit about who we were as people and not just players.
You're right, man, because it wasn't like that. When I got drafted in 95 and I stayed there from 95 to 98, and it wasn't like it was a blue collar town, man. When I was there, man, you just go out there, played, and took your lunch pail home, man. It wasn't and I was an offensive lineman, so anytime you heard an offensive lineman name, he was just holding, jumping off sides, or doing something he was stupid he wasn't supposed to do. So I didn't have that privilege of having my name called unless I was doing something wrong, man. But man, it was great, man. It was great, talking to you again, man.
Yeah, brother. Thank you, man.
Corey, take care, man. All the best. Good luck with everything.
Y'all having me, man. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, man. Take care. You got it. That's Corey. He was part of a really special group, man. It's a shame that team didn't win a Super Bowl, but they were special. Right.